Alrighty, Natalia, we are live. Thank you ever so much for agreeing to do this interview with me. Um, for me, I love talking to people, as you know, who haven't worked with me. And also, I love people to have an idea of what we do in the program, because what you are going to say is exactly what some woman somewhere needs to hear today. All right. So I'll ask Natalia to introduce herself, ladies, in a bit. But I remember speaking to you, I think it was probably in March or something, and thinking, yeah, this was a lost cause. And it wasn't a lost cause. It wasn't a lost cause at all. So you were one of the surprises for me. So tell me, Natalia, what you do and how many children you have, please.
Thanks, Gifty. I am Natalia Kradek. I'm a global vendor and resource manager for PlayStation Studios QA, and I work in the UK. So in the UK department, I have a global team. I have people reporting to me in Japan, UK, and US. And I have only one son, but he's small but mighty. He just turned 3.
Right. Okay, listen, there's nothing like only one son, right? It's still a handful and all the
Yeah.
rest of it. So welcome and thank you. So tell me a bit about your results in the program.
Well, to be honest, that I'm still surprised by the results, and I think they're quite fantastic. I'm sleeping through, my son is sleeping through, I'm full of energy. I know how to deal with all curveballs life throws my way, which is great, and nothing gets me out of my status, and I'm always dealing with my emotions. I'm not tired. As I said, full of energy, happier person, and just squeezing the yumminess of my life.
Yeah, good on you, good on you. And so ladies, when she says she's sleeping through the night, so what we also do, we do sleep training for women whose kids are not sleeping through the night. So that's part of the program as well, for those with the small children. So tell me, where were you when you found me?
I was in quite difficult state. I was dealing with postnatal depression. I was very tired. I was juggling my career and my family. I was trying to be there for them and also be successful at my career. And I was feeling that it was leading me to burnout. So it was difficult. I had mood swings as well. So my periods were heavy. So it was quite a difficult state.
Yeah. And I mean, this is it. So when you're saying difficult birth, all we're talking about is a traumatic birth, actually, because when you took me through the details, oh my God. Um, so why was it important for you to fix it?
Because something had to be done, something had to give, and I needed to change the situation for better, and I wanted to take control of my life again and be the happy person I used to be before, and full of energy, and be there for my family as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Fantastic. And so, what had you tried before?
I tried I tried quite a few things. I tried to, manage my workload. Try to do a little bit more at work, and try to do less at home, because I always felt that I was, I needed to do more. I couldn't give enough for either family or work. So I tried to balance these things, and it didn't work. I did some transformational coaching through work as well. I was practicing yoga. I was asking for advice from NHS, which I also didn't get. So I've tried a few things, and nothing really helped. So the situation didn't change.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when people come to when I'm talking to people, and sometimes the people that don't choose to go ahead with me, they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to try a bit of yoga, or I don't know, I'm going to talk to a friend, or whatever it is. And here you are, you had tried transformation coaching, you tried the yoga, you tried whatever, and you were still where you were. And so, what would you say would be the difference between trying a bit of this and a bit of that, a bit of here, and what happens in the program?
I think it's the like the all accomplishing approach you give, because you only touching on one point if you do, say, transformational coaching or just yoga or balancing the workload. You only trying to address a symptom rather than a cause, whether your program looks into different areas and addresses all three different fields. So, the spiritual, the physical, the mental, family, career, surroundings, and yourself. The main things is the focus is on the person, on the mother, so on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Whether other things is obviously like, oh, let's change workload, which is external factor. This one
Yeah.
is, it's ourselves, so myself.
Yeah, and it's interesting, with the holistic approach I use, because again, people are like, okay, I know I'm going to, I don't know, work longer hours or not work longer hours, whatever it is, or I'm going to be more confident. But you can't just get up and be more confident. It doesn't work like that, you know? Um, and people don't appreciate that the actual work you have to do, the mindset shifts you have to do, what you have to do physically on yourself, the sort of new information you have to be letting into your brain, and the sort of pattern interruption you have to do, and know yourself at a completely different level, right? For you to be able to confront the challenges, and all that. Okay, so tell me, how did you find me?
I think I've seen an app popped up on Facebook, which,
Hmm.
it didn't really. Usually, I don't even look at those type of things, but something resonated with me, so I've listened to it, and then I did a free webinar. So I really liked it, what I hear, and
Hmm.
what I've heard, and then I was like, oh, I definitely look into it, and I think I booked as well a session to get a bit more about you and understand what the program was about.
Hmm. Okay, so what was the thing I told you on the call that made you decide to work with me?
I think because you touched on all things of like what bothered me and resonated with me. So the career, the family, the burnout, and shifting from it, and also, moving my mental state, but
Mhm.
also because you are doing this holistic approach,
Mhm.
which I really liked, and I thought I felt that it was something that would help me.
Yeah. And for you, and this is interesting. I mean, my favorite word is badass, and you are a badass, because there you were, and whatever I said to go do, you were not just doing it; you were doing it like times two. When we talk about a difficult conversation, you were literally having it with anybody who would just look at you. So you were actually very, very coachable in that sense. You absorbed a lot, looked at what others were doing, you were open to change, and even the weird stuff that um I was exposing you to and stuff like that. You were open to trying. You were open to trying, and I mean, listen, having a difficult conversation with anybody is challenging, but you were there, it's like, yeah, cool, yeah, I'm happy with that, happy with that. I'm like, okay, okay, let's go. Let's go. So bravo. But when I spoke to you, did you think I was crazy, or did you think it would work?
I definitely had my doubts. It's like there's how is that possible? Like, would it work? But I think whilst the more I was talking to you, the more I was the more I understood that yes, it this is something I need, and that it will help, because I did my due diligence as well as being a vendor manager. I looked into all things, the reviews, the website, the book, the interviews, and everything. And I looked up at all of the positive things you've done, and I thought, like, yeah, Gifty can do it. And I truly believe that everything I need that comes my way in the right time. So that was the time when I needed it, and there you were. And I just thought, I need to do something, and I was unhappy, and I wanted to be happy again. And
because I remember. Yeah, I remember Haley, who does a sleep training, saying to me, "Oh my God, Gifty, she is so adorable. I can't, she's just doing everything." And so ladies, what happens is that women, the ones that do sleep training, they do it first before they do the core program. And so Haley gets the exposure to them first, I guess, before I get at them, because I can't be throwing strategy at them when they haven't slept through the night and they're bleary-eyed and exhausted and pissed off, right? So
that was me. I was exhausted and pissed off, and I didn't know what to do with that, because it was just a vicious cycle.
It was. And so what happened straight away, apart from the fact that you started sleeping? I would say.
And I wanted to say that I started sleeping when my son was almost 3, just because thanks to Gifty's program and Haley. So for 3 years I was sleep deprived and completely tired, and that affected my relationships with my co-workers, with my family, because obviously the mood swings, it was difficult to control, and because I was constantly tired. So those things went away straight away. As soon as I started sleeping and being rested, I was happier. I was, I think, a better person to be around to. I was relying on coffee, so don't talk to me before my coffee. before my coffee, and then when I have my coffee, I will then speak to you in a pleasant way. But so that basically, I no longer need to rely on that. I'm a nice person first thing in the morning. Yeah.
So I remember the coffee chat with you, me, and Sarah, and then you were like, and she's like, "Oh, I can't function without my coffee first thing in the morning." I'm thinking, I think you can if you get your body. But yeah, you just being jacked up on that for so long, you couldn't see an alternative, but you were open to trying as well, which was great. So, what surprised you about the program?
Because it actually worked. That really surprised me, because I thought, well, it worked really well. I have, as I said, lots of things changed from the beginning, and then because it's touches on all of the areas, so you could see the results in your family relationship, your extended family relationship, your I don't know, career, because obviously I became more focused. I could do things better, quicker, more successful, more confident, as you say that. Yes, confidence. And what else? It positively influenced relationship with my husband, with my son. I'm very happy. Things used to be a chore for me, now they're not a chore. So I really enjoy my time I spent with my son, which it was a difficult thing for me, because I felt it was always a chore, that I had to be pulled away from the things I was doing. For example, now I consciously enjoy it. And those things are surprising. My periods are lighter, which is also super surprising, which is good. I used to have heavy periods and it was draining, so they are lighter. And that's also, as I said, like a part of the self repair. Sort of that you look after yourself, and then
So ladies, in terms of the cumulative effect, right? So Natalia wasn't sleeping well because her son was waking up. She was having heavy periods. She was tired. She was exhausted. Now, you can't have all those things happening and then go to work and crush it. You know, I like, for me, when I was going through my issues and stuff like that, I couldn't even remember stuff. You know, my memory was shot. I mean, I'd be talking to somebody, I couldn't even remember their names, right? It was that bad. And what people don't realize is all these things are linked. And they don't realize that you need to look after yourself, know what to do to your body, know what to put inside your body, know how to process your thoughts, um really know who you are in terms of the divinity that you are, and then that allows you to operate on a different level. And I can say this until I'm blue in the face, until you actually start taking those steps, it's just words, do you know? So when I speak to people and then, oh, I'm going to read your book, I'm like, listen, I wrote that book. You need to actually be doing, the stuff. And it's also the periphery stuff, like the improvement in your relationship, your extended family, all that. And then that gives you the confidence then to tackle other things. And I remember when we had the networking conversation about you actually putting yourself on other people's radar and letting them know your ambitions and everything. And you straight away, you were like, yeah, I had this conversation, I'm going to have, but this is it. That was how coachable you were. So it was, you were just gone. The moment I said it, you were just gone off and ready to do it. And that is what, for me, made you such a joy to coach. It was like, whatever it is, just throw it at me. Give me. So where are you in your transformation now, would you say?
So I finished the program, which was joyful but sad at the same time, because I really enjoyed it. And I realized that there's a lot of things I could still do, and thankfully you've given me lots of tools to practice and continue growing myself and continue improving my life, or my lifestyle. Everything happens around me, so there's so many things could be done. So I feel like I'm still in the middle. I'm in progress. I could still do lots of things, but yes, the program is completed and I'm full of knowledge and full of tools I could utilize.
Yeah, which is fantastic. And I mean, for me, I know that the best is yet to come for you. So again, ladies, most of the time when people come to me, they are in crisis. So here was Natalia talking about postnatal depression. She was the happiest person in the program by the time she finished, and everybody was like, whoa, I want to be like Natalia. But I remember one time when she started, what was it now? You had COVID, and then
Tonsillitis,
yeah.
and then my husband was also on antibiotics, so I had antibiotics to treat tonsillitis because it was septic tonsillitis. Great thing. Then my son was having COVID and bacterial infections, so it was just all things one after another, and I had some difficult situation at work, so it was a lot of things piling up. And one of my member of staff, like a senior member of staff, was resigning to move to a different country. So it was like all to deal in one go.
Yeah, it was a perfect storm at that time. I remember like Q&A. And so what do you think gave you the confidence to navigate that perfect storm?
Interesting question. I think being centered on myself and being able to control my emotions and not being dragged into the spiral and downward loop enabled me to stay strong. So the program itself, there is obviously every morning you have a time for yourself, which recenters you and allows you to control your emotions better. So that made me almost impenetrable to all of the curveballs life threw. So I couldn't believe myself, and none of my colleagues as well, because they were like, how is it possible you remaining so positive and so happy with all the things around you? I was like, I don't know, that's just how it is, and I'm sure it will be better.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
and yeah, and I remember. I also remember like you and they when you were saying, "Oh, and this has gone wrong, and this has gone wrong,
yeah.
and this has gone wrong." You know, and yes, and sometimes people hit a crisis, and for me, I'm like, never waste a good crisis. If you're going to have a crisis, come and have it in the program because you have support there. Do you know?
Yeah, that's it. I think the support I forgot to mention. I think the support you give and the Q&As are that helped me massively.
Mm.
It's just because I knew that I could come in and they'll be there and like smiley faces will be looking at me on the other screen. So definitely support.
Yeah, you'll be held. And also because this is it, because when you're going through it, when things are falling apart and you're on your own and you don't have the systems to cope, you think, oh, woe is me, everything is happening. But what you then have is somebody saying, come on, Natalia, you can do this now. And you see it modeled for you, and then it makes it accessible to you, and for you, you didn't need a lot of pushing either, just a little push and you're off. You're off, over delivering, and just literally shaking trees everywhere. So I mean, well done you. For me, it was an indulgence to coach you, and I do say this, and of course, to be honest, I tend to interview my people that I loved coaching. To be fair, but it really was such an indulgence in the Q and A's, when you were there. But I mean, it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me, because the others, because when you were leaving, you heard what the others were saying about you. But I also remember when you first came in as well, and you asking all the other people the questions and stuff. So what would you say to somebody who is listening to this and struggling and thinking, oh, should I book a call?
Go for it. Absolutely go for it. And
Mm,
if you're in doubt, just think that sometimes you might be needing somebody to hear you, and Gift is excellent at listening and assessing straight away what are the important things and feeding back to you as well. So you're like, oh, this is what I needed to hear too. But sometimes it's important for when you speak for yourself to hear the problems, because you might not realize those issues that they were
mm.
bothering until I guess you speak them out.
Yes,
So go
yes,
for it.
yeah. Okay, so that is fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic, Natalia, and I'm so pleased for you. I really am so pleased for you. So coming from postnatal depression to where you are now, and I believe you are now open to having another baby, right?
Yeah, which I would tell you for sure. If you ask me before the program, the answer would be 100% no, like
Hmm.
never again. So yes,
Hmm.
I'm definitely open to have another one. That's why I said only one for now. So could be could be another one.
Yeah, which is fantastic because here you come from a very traumatic birth experience, from a very negative space, and then going back to work, you've got a full-on job, you know, and so there was the demands at work, there were the demands at home, there were the demands on your body physically in terms of what you did. And for me, you having the courage to reach out for help and knowing that, all these other things you had tried hadn't worked, but not just that, having the smarts and the courage to say, okay, I'm going to do something different now. Right. And so when I speak to women, it's hard for me to convey in that hour, what I can't tell them everything. I can't tell them everything in that hour. It's just when you come into the program that you realize that, you know, it's not just, it's more than you anticipated for, and that we're dealing with your whole
Mm.
life. So luckily we've got a bit more time, so tell them a bit more about, because I'm sure there were bits that you didn't think we are going to touch on that we touched on.
Oh, well, I wanted to say as well that I think the thing as well on the hour we talked, what I kind of picked up as well, it was the career thing that,
Yes.
the things will change in my career. And it does change, but it changes on like a wave effect as well, because you're dealing with everything on the inner circle, that it will impact the career. Because I think what kind of drew me as well is like, oh, I could get a career progression. And yes, you can, especially if you are rested, focused, happy, a nice person to be around. So that's one of the things that I just wanted to say as well, that if you are a career minded woman like myself, and that was a thing which I struggled the most, because when I had the baby, it didn't let me be that career oriented, ambitious woman, because I couldn't balance it. But that's uh, that's what I wanted to say as well, that this program is also allowing you to reprioritize things, but also to be successful at your career just by default, because you're successful at home and you're confident and happy. Yeah, the things what I didn't touch, we looked at is the external, like the extended family relationships.
Mm.
It's sometimes difficult for for us to blend into the extended family as well and maintain good relationships. So I didn't think that we would even look at that. And also my personal health, I also didn't think we'll look into those, heavy periods and fix them as well.
Yeah.
Or, the sexual life as well. That's also a thing, I guess, customizable. And
Well, and
you
this is the thing, because women generally, because you've had a traumatic birth experience, you've had a bit of postnatal depression, and most of the time when I speak to women, they're tired, and when you're not sleeping as well with the heavy periods, libido is the last thing on anybody's mind because you're busy, right? You are
yeah,
just busy trying to survive. And women in survival, that sort of expressing that femininity is almost, it's just a luxury, it's a nice to have, and it's put on the back burner. They don't see it as primary to their well-being, and it's only when you come out of survival, really, that you realize that, hang on, I've been given a body to enjoy, and I'm going to enjoy everything about this body, and it is my right, it's part of my well-being. So not just to crush it at work. And so some people come to me and they're like, I want a new job, I want a promotion. I'm like, okay, I hear you, that will come, but let's fix you.
yeah,
Do
that
you
was
know?
me. I was
Yes.
like, yeah, I want that, but then yes, that will all come.
Yes, let's fix you, because the woman you become then goes out there and crushes it. And also, I've had people who didn't even want to change careers, didn't want a new job, but the woman they became had to have a new job because they couldn't put up with it anymore, in terms of, because they didn't even know that they were compromising, or they didn't even know they were settling, right? But it's the woman you become who's got boundaries and knows how to enforce those boundaries, who has got clear communication skills to take on difficult conversations, even with a mother-in-law,
Yeah.
and have it come out right. Do
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
works
Uh,
perfect now.
yes, yes, which is amazing. Which, I mean, when you said, because most people will be like, okay, I have that with my husband or my boss. But when you said mother-in-law, I thought, okay, let's go. And as it turned out, she was amazing. And all you needed was the skills and the confidence. To go have that conversation. So I am so proud of you, Natalia. I can't tell you how proud I am of you. Like I said, you came to me in survival. Now you're no longer in survival, and now what I'm just doing is sitting back and watch you thrive. That's what I'm doing. So listen, thank you for the privilege and the opportunity, and thank you for agreeing to do this interview, because there is at least one person out there that needed to hear this. So any last words from you?
Um, no, just thank you as well. And ladies, do value yourself. Absolutely invest in yourself, and it will pay off. So time for yourself is very precious, and your family will thank you for it. And Gifty, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity as well. I really enjoyed it. I can't thank you enough for taking me out of that state and elevating me and making me a happier person and a lighter person as well.
Thank you. Thanks so much. All right, ladies, we're going to sign off here. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.